Good morning, I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela and we are the Castros. Happy Monday!
To all our branches, ilang araw na lang,
9
Christmas
days.
na. And of course, kaninang umaga, also last night, nagsimula ang simbang gabi.
Oo, mamaya kasama yan sa countdown natin. Pero yun nga, thank you muna sa House of Puto Bao, di ba?
Bao.
Oo, Bao, yan.
Oo.
Para sa ating Palitaw for today's brunch.
Meron ng trivia noon dyan si, di ba?
Lulubog Lilitaw.
Lulubog Lilitaw. Isang Pokemon Go.
Oh, ang
Lulubog
sarap
Lilitaw
Yung,
daw.
of course, with nyog and brown sugar. Or yung iba naman kasi they prefer muscovado kasi healthier.
Yeah.
Diba doon sa
Or
kanilang
cocoa sugar.
Oo.
Sige, we're serving you news in a countdown.
All that before your second cup of coffee. This is brunch.
Starting our countdown is the start of a Christmas tradition, no other than Simbang Gabi. Catholics woke up early today to attend the first Simbang Gabi of the year. People started arriving at the Manila Cathedral Church before the 4:30 a.m. Mass. Manila Archbishop Jose Cardinal Advincula presided over the Mass. He called on the faithful to be selfless like Jesus and be a source of hope for others. Advincula also reminded Catholics to complete the 9 days of Simbang Gabi. Mali, 9 ba?
Oo,
9 ba,
9 days
10?
yun.
Tama, 9.
Di ba? Kaya nga 9 days na lang before
Tama.
Christmas. So, nag-start na siya. Kagabi, anticipated mass naman para dun sa mga hindi makapunta ng dawn mass. Pero yung iba talaga, of course, gusto nila talaga yung attend ka ng, di ba, simbang gabi, yung Misa de Gallo.
Kasi may puto bumbong, may bibingka.
Oo,
may hot
after,
choco,
di ba? After ng misa, yun ang inyong gagawin ng family. So, ayan. Kumpletuhin nyo and make a wish after. Ika nga. Alright, let's continue with our countdown. On our top 9 is the Merry ang Vibes ng Pasko concert. The first part of the star-studded event premiered yesterday. Pop star royalty Sara Geronimo showcased her undeniable talent when she performed her hits like Tala and Kilometro. Eid Bulaga's host Tito Vic and Joey were also present in the event. Two-time Olympic gold medalist Carlos Yulo was also there to thank all the support he got this year. Catch the second part of Merry ang Vibes ang Pasko, the MVP Group Christmas Party on December 22, 5 p.m. on TV5, 1PH, Sari Sari Channel, Bukid Channel, and of course, RPTV.
My hope is for events like this to bring us together, foster deeper connections amongst us, but most of all, remind us that no matter the challenges we will face in the coming year or years, magtutulungan tayo at walang iwanan.
Congratulations ulit sa very successful Merry ang Vibes ang Pasko. Christmas party yan ng MVP group sa Smart Araneta Coliseum.
Nandun ka, di ba? Nag-award ka.
Nag-present tayo. Of course, ang cost nito para dun sa mga yung malilikom natin na donation ay para doon sa mga nasalanta ng bagyo. Sunod-sunod na bagyo this year, di ba, dito
October,
sa ating
November.
bansa.
August, September, October, November. Grabe
Yes.
yung bagyo dyan.
Over 8,000 employees from the MVP group of companies ang nandiyan, ang nakilahok, and 200 celebrities naman yung nagbigay ng saya sa ating mga empleyado dyan. Alright, let's continue with our countdown.
Victorious at the 8th spot are the UP Fighting Maroons. They redeemed themselves in the finals of UAAP Men's Basketball after dethroning the LaSalle Green Archers. Over 25,000 fans witnessed the victory of the Diliman squad against the Taft squad, 66-62. The match started with a thrill after the two fierce teams were tied in the first quarter. But eventually, the Fighting Maroons found their way to control the game and reclaim their throne. Quentin Meliora Brown led the Fighting Maroons with 14 points, 10 rebounds, and a block. Meanwhile, graduating player JD Kagulangan was hailed as the finals MVP. Yan, congrats sa UP Fighting Maroons after a thrilling series.
Para talaga sa kanila this year.
Game 1 was taken by UP Maroons, tapos Game 2 was taken by the LaSalle.
By 1 point lang yun, di ba?
Close game. And then Game 3, 4-point lead for the UP Fighting Maroons. Ayun. So,
congratulations. Nabalik sa kanila ang corona.
Ha?
Nabalik sa kanila ang corona. Kasi the last time sila, tas nakuha lang ng UP.
nabalik yung corona. Nawala ang corona sa Lasal.
Sa Lasal, pero nabalik ang corona nga sa UP. That's what
Nag-champion na pala sila?
Yes, of course.
Kailan sila nag-champion?
Hindi ako sure. The other year ata.
Last year kasi.
Last year, of course, Lasal.
Lasal, oo.
Yes. So ngayon, syempre tinatanong,
Palitan lang
ano
sila.
mangyayari kay Kevin Kiambao?
On the way to Korea.
Sabi niya magpapahinga lang daw muna siya.
Pero he's going to Korea.
After ng pahinga
Yeah,
na.
may contract na siya eh.
Okay. Sige, congratulations sa i-savor niyo yung panalo mga taga-UP. Tuwang-tuwa sila. Coming up, what was the latest order of President Bongbong Marcos to the Bureau of Customs and the Department of Agriculture?
And all POGOs are deemed illegal, but how will authorities monitor those that operate under the guise of BPOs?
Abangan niyo po, ano ba yung ating magiging number one for today? We're just getting started, mga kapatid. More of our top 10 news and brunch returns. Keep it here on One News. Good morning. You're still watching Brunch here on One News. Of course, we would like to thank House of Puto Bao para dito sa ating very yummy na palitaw.
Palitaw. May yung palitaw, palubog. May sinabi si Sam Pokemon Go noon.
Na trivia.
Anyway, let's start our greetings dito sa Facebook. Alex Fuentes, good morning. Sam Pokemon Go, magandang morning daw. Ang sarap daw ng kinakain natin.
Sarap nga, promise.
Si Adela Villar, pa-order daw siya. Si Ralph Domingo naman.
House of Puto Bao, punta ka lang sa kanila.
Check it out. Hanapin niyo yung mga social media
Order
account
kayo.
nila. Si Ralph Domingo, Noche Buena brunch style in 9 days. Ang bilis ng oras, sabi ni Ralph. True, Ralph yan. Tapos mayat-mayat, ano na siya. Valentine's, tapos Holy Week na ulit.
Tapos pasukan na naman ulit.
Pasukan na naman ulit.
Hindi pa ka nagsa-stop yung school ngayon. Pero I'd like to greet also yung ating mga brunchies dito naman sa YouTube. Si Alex Fuentes, Ronald Maxtay, si Geraldine Balolong na nanonood po all the way from Bukidnon. Si Elmo Cardenas, si Summer Cabrera, ayan. Tapos si Arleth Mendoza, si Tita Daisy Cancho, Tito Nito, and Tito Naldi nanonood din
Uy,
sa
good
atin.
morning.
JN Ramos, good morning din daw. Si Mark Santiago at si Gary Ko na nanonood din. Si Jerry Yang, of course, si Mina Benales, diba, and the rest of our Jesse Mendez family. Tita Esther Abaya nanonood din yan sa atin. Of course, ang ating Mother Earth, si Mama. Yan, good morning.
Morning.
Si VJ.
VJ.
Si Hener nanonood din sa atin. Si Ate Ringo yan nanonood din. Okay, let's continue with our countdown. More people are expected to flock to airports this holiday season compared to last year. The Immigration Bureau expected more than 110,000 travelers, higher than the less than 100,000 logged in 2023. BI said applications for leave of frontline officers are denied to ensure full deployment capacity. They will also send personnel from the main office to the airports and activate its rapid response teams.
Actually, itong last 2-3
Dami,
weeks
Even yun, di ba yung pagpunta ko dyan nga, tama ka, mga last 2-3 weeks sobrang
may
dami na
nakausap na
talaga.
akong airport personnel doon, sabi niya na usually daw between 1 to 4 a.m. Okay naman daw, wala namang masyadong tao, kalmado. Pero recently daw, grabe.
Grabe.
Kaya yung mga businesses daw, dami na daw i-inquire na gusto maglagay sa stalls.
Dyan sa
nagtaas
sa
na daw
airport.
presyo ng rent, pero bawing-bawi naman daw dahil sa volume.
Sobrang dami.
24-hour volume cycle kasi dyan.
Exactly. I'll give you an example. Di ba, when I arrived from Singapore, yung immigration, sobrang haba ng pila. I arrived here mga 10:50, gano'n,
Oo.
di ba? Nakalabas ako ng airport alauna. Ganun kadami yung
Saka
tao.
yung Terminal 3 serves as a transit point also for connecting flights from
Yes.
within Asia to other countries.
Yes.
So yung mga ibang...
And even yung Diego, kunyari, galing ka ng Bacolod, tapos pupunta ka na Zamboanga, walang diretso So magmamanila ka muna, connecting flights
depende
muna,
on the
tapos sa
flights.
Zamboanga.
Kasi may certain flights na may direct flight. Pero yung mga nagsistay kasi, what I was saying is yung nagsistay sa transit points, kakain sila sa Terminal 3. Yung daming restaurants kasi dyan, punong-puno eh.
Super.
So yung businesses are really thriving.
Tapos ang mahal ng mga bentahan doon sa airport.
Oo.
Medyo triple yung mga nandito sa outside ng airport.
May premium price, may premium eh.
Oo. Pero yun nga. So dapat, importante din, yun nga, ayusin yung services dyan sa airport. Inaantay nga natin, di ba, yung modernization nila dyan. Kasi the last time that I was there, a week ago naman, galing ako ng Negros, di ba? Ang tagal din namin, mga 30 minutes kami nag-antay doon sa luggage counter.
Yes.
No, nung dumating naman yung baggage, yung pag-ikot, anong tawag doon? Carousel. Siguro mga stop and go ilang beses din. Kaya din yung mga kababayan natin, yung mga pasahero, ang tagal din nakatay doon. So tumupok yung tao.
Yung carousel releasing kasi nakasalala yan sa pila ng mga airline na dumarating.
Yes.
First come, first serve sila. So yun, okay.
Alright.
Anyway, let's move on. Settling in at the sixth spot is about China. Its Ministry of National Defense issued a warning against the Philippines regarding the increasing tension in the South China Sea. Chinese Defense Ministry spokesperson Wu Qian said they will conduct stronger countermeasures against the Philippines if we continue our supposed aggression against them. Wu also criticized our government for always bringing ships full of reporters monitoring activities in the West Philippine Sea. Recall that China's vessels conducted water cannon attacks against our ships in our exclusive economic zone. Pati laser attacks. Continued aggression, ha?
Oo, tayo daw kasi nauuna. At yun nga, ni-reiterate nila na every time we would do activities like resupply mission, maritime patrol, lagi daw tayo may kasamang mga reporters.
So they've been ramming our boats, water cannoning, laser pointers at our boats, and yet they said that they will have different and more countermeasures in place. What are you talking about? Ngayon pa lang, grabe na yung countermeasures na ginagawa nyo supposedly.
What else, di ba, can you do?
What else can you do? Kasi are they going to, it's scary to think, are they going to escalate and graduate from using water cannons and move to other tactics? Sana naman hindi, di ba?
So tayo naman, we continue to file diplomatic protests and sinasabi naman ng mga maritime experts, importante rin naman daw na meron tayong record.
Oh, it's on the record.
Diba, na every time na may nangyayari na ganitong insidente sa West Philippine Sea that involves our Coast Guard and of course our fishermen there, it should be on the record.
Sabi kasi naman ng mga analysts, the reason why we are not sending our Navy ships at the very least is because we don't want to provoke them.
Yeah, we don't want to militarize the area kasi as much as
but some
possible.
analysts are saying, we're not provoking them na nga, they are already attacking us. So what if we send our ships, our Navy ships to escort, and if they continue the provocation, stand down pa rin ng Navy. Huwag silang reciprocate. Huwag silang bumawi. O di at least makita ng lahat, they attacked our Navy ships, hindi kami bumawi. Diba? Kasi how much long, ano pa gagawin natin?
Hindi na rin alam diba? Sa dami ng, we also, pinasa natin yung mga batas natin, yung Maritime Zones Act.
We're repeating kasi paulit-ulit ang tactics natin and looks like we're not getting anywhere. Tapos nag-escalate pa ang tension with regards to how the Chinese are supposedly attacking us.
At saka, di ba, ito nga, yung iba, resupply mission lang, nagkakagulo na tayo dito. Paano pa yung
simple,
kailangan
resupply
natin na asikasuhin yung, yung BRP Sierra Madre sa Scarborough Shoal.
Malapit na yun mag-iba.
Oo, di ba? Hindi natin maitawid. Yung pagkain lang, hindi natin maitawid dun di ba? Paano pa yung mga construction materials. So, ayun. So, yun yung warning nila, di ba? Kasi nga, sinasabi nila, every time we go there, lagi tayo may kasamang reporters, naka-report agad.
Palaban kasi natin. That's the only way. Saka huwag sila magalit kung may reporters because at least, di ba? Supposedly, if wala silang ginagawang mali, reporters are a middle catalyst kasi may foreign journalists So, di ba, kung wala silang ginagawa, makikita naman sa camera.
Yeah.
Unless natatakot sila na may ginagawa
kasi nangyayari din after ng incident, naglalabas din sila ng videos
spliced, edited.
Na spliced videos na according, yung narrative ay pabor sa kanila. Diba? So, ayan. So, ang importante dyan kasi kawawa din talaga yung mga fishermen natin dyan na, diba, yung nasa gitna nito mga pag-aaway na to. Sila yung hindi nakakapangisda. Diba?
CCG and PCG. Yung hidwaan nila Ay nako, basta we have to find other ways of dealing with this without of course going to war.
That's why it is important na ma-stress din natin yung Murillo map, 'di ba? Pinag-uusapan natin yan dito.
Historical map na which
Oo.
counteracts China's historical claim, because if you're going to take a look at China's historical claims, ibabangga mo sa Meridian map, parang how could this happen? The
Sila
Meridian
din
map-
ang sinasabi nila, based on historical
Oo.
claims
But
sila,
we also
diba?
have a historical background also. We have an actual map during those times that proves that we already were in the area during that.
Kaya nga sinasabi nila, maging malaking bahagi ito doon sa naging desisyon kasi ng UN Tribunal,
Yeah.
diba, ng The Hague, doon na pagbibigay sa atin, pumapabor yung desisyon sa atin dahil dito sa Murillo map na ito. Alright, sige, let's continue with our countdown. On our top 5 are Pogos. PAOK says all Pogo hubs in the country are formally deemed illegal. This comes after PAGCOR said that all Pogo licenses will be revoked by December 15. Still, authorities assured the public that they will continue their monitoring. President Bongbong Marcos himself ordered the ban on Pogos after some were implicated in crimes.
Yan. Ito yung sinasabi ng PAOK na come the last few weeks of December, PBBM will clearly define already. Kasi noon nasa gray area sila basta Pogo. At least defined all Pogos na may license granted from PAGCOR.
Mga internet gaming licenses.
Illegal. Yung back-end processing ng mga casinos, yun, hindi naman illegal yun kasi hindi naman gambling operations yun eh.
Oo, yun nilinaw nila. As long as wala namang gambling operations, okay lang yun. Pwede
Back-end,
yun. Kasi maganda ning opportunity, job opportunity.
Naka-define naman yan, back-end processing, meaning any business support, okay lang yun. Like pasweldo, ER concerns, admin work like accounting, finance, yun. Pero yung actual operations na kung saan ka nag-monitor ng mga gamers, kung kukolect ka ng money sa gambling, yun, ano yun. So until December, they have time to pack up, yung mga hindi pa nagpa-pack up. Tapos yung mga ibang equipment, kasi ang problema dito, iniiwan nila yung ibang equipment eh.
Sinasalo ng iba, tapos gumagawa
mga-
ng sarili-sarili nilang mga operasyon.
Mga Pinoy na naiiwan, kinukuha. So sana siguro we can confiscate it and impound the equipment or the area right after they leave para hindi na makuha.
Kaya nga daw yung ibang mga raids na nangyayari ngayon, nakikita din nila sa yung mga small condominium unit kasi doon nagkakaroon din ng mga small operations din ng Pogos.
Makikita mo daw madaming cellphone nakakonect sa troll farming machines. So,
Tapos yun din, yung mga pinadideport dito ng mga Pogo workers, diba, paalis dito sa ating bansa, ang laki-laki na rin, milyon na rin yung mga nagagastos ng government no, para maasikaso itong mga ipapadeport. Kasi pag nahuli sila, i-house pa natin somewhere, not naman house, but ang tawag dun sa isang facility, dun sila i-hold,
hold nila.
dun sila pakakainin.
Until they are cleared.
Until they're cleared, doon sila pakakainin. Even yung families nila, kasi iba dito, nagkaroon na ng
They got
pamilya,
married.
nagkaroon na ng asawa, nagkaroon na ng anak. So, pinapakain din nila yun. So, yung
option
iba,
option daw ng asawa, anak ng foreign national kung sasama sila pabalik eh.
oo.
Or they will remain
Pero
here.
kasi pagdating ng mga Pogo workers na yon from here sa China, they're not treated as victims eh.
Yeah.
Criminal sila kaagad
Criminal sila.
pagdating doon. So may mga investigation and of course, may mga paparusahan.
Kasi China is very strict against gambling.
Oo. So yan sinasabi niya, legally deemed illegal na ang mga Pogos ngayon. Kasi nagkakaroon din, di ba pinag-usapan na rin natin yan dito, yung usapin dyan sa CESA. Di ba kasi they have the authority also to give
Supposedly,
license, di ba,
oo.
sa mga casinos, etc.
That's why sabi nila PBBM has to pass this into law already para clearly define ano ba ang
No,
talaga.
yung both Congress, ang kailangan tumabako
Okay,
niya.
ayan,
Then-
sorry, that's what I meant. That's
and
what I
then
meant. Congress and
PBBM will sign it.
has to he can certify daw and parang pwede na udyokin daw ang Congress to come up with a bill and then to certify as urgent under the LEDAC na magkaroon ng definition na bawal ang Pogos kahit sa economic zones.
So ngayon ang inaantay natin, of course, yung mga ipapadeport ng mga Pogo workers. Tapos yung paghuhuli doon sa mga Pogo hubs dito na illegal. 'Di ba? Tapos, of course, ang aantabayanan din natin at wag natin kakalimutan, yung paghuhuli at pagpapataw ng parusa doon sa mga may kasalanan, yung accountability, ika nga, 'di ba? Yung accountable dito sa mga pinagagagawa nila dito sa atin pagdating sa usapin ng Pogos. Yan ang isa sa mga dapat natin ang tawag dito, ang tawag doon ba, manmanan, 'di ba? Babantayan, ika nga. Kasi nga baka mamaya nakakalimutan natin na, uy, may mga mastermind ito,
Oo.
'di ba? May mga dapat panagutin, lalo na yung may mga nakakabit na mga illegal crimes, 'di ba? Yung
Basta
torture, yung
pero at the same time
prostitution.
also, we're dismantling yung Pogo system because ang daming crime na tulad na sinasabi mo. Ang problema, at that time, I think ito si Winston Casio pa rin ang spokesperson. He was saying na nagiging problem yung breakaway groups. Maliliit na groups that continue, di ba, that continue to operate under the guise of mini businesses.
Oo.
Anyway, we have with us on the line Yusek Gilbert Cruz of PAOK. Yusek, good morning.
Yes, good morning, sir and ma'am. Good morning po and to all the listeners and viewers. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat.
Yes, thank you for joining us again, Yusek. Hingi lang po kami ng update dito sa ating mga pagtugis ng mga pogos, illegal pogos here sa ating bansa.
Yes. For this week siguro and the coming week siguro, ang gagawin namin is to inspect talaga yung mga
Yusek?
hello.
Yes,
go ahead, Yusek.
Inspection din siguro namin yung yung mga nagsabing nagsara na sila o nag-wind down na sila. Magkakaroon kami ng inspection, physical inspection of those establishments or areas kung saan may dating mga POGO licenses at IGL licenses. And siguro on the start of next year, siguro first week of January, ang gagawin namin is to locate na and siguro hulihin na yung mga natitirang rogue pogos na who opted to operate despite yung illegal na sila kasi wala na talagang license yung mga pogos na yan o yung mga IGLs na yan, even yung mga BPOs so we will be doing yung arrest na kung may iwan pa dyan o may tutuloy pa dyan kasi we are looking at about hundreds of rogue and guerrilla pogo operations.
Yeah, speaking of rogue and guerrilla pogos, Yusek, meron po tayo bang inventory of mga equipment sa mga nagsara na or the ones who vacated their premises? Kasi may mga reports na pumapasok na mga Pinoy mismo daw kumukuha ng gamit at yung tinatayo nilang guerrilla, maliliit na guerrilla pogos all over the metro. Ano ang update po natin dito, Yusek?
Yes, that's what we are looking at, yung mga smaller scale na mga pogo operations kasi ang report sa amin is lumilipat na sila kahit pa ilan-ilan kasi they may be 15 to 50
Yes.
na mga Filipinos and then may mga isang boss lang sila na foreigner o dalawang boss na foreigner. Lumilipat na yan sa mga resorts, sa mga condominium units, sa mga gated houses, subdivisions. Yun na yung mga pinipili nila and they operate in a smaller scale. Kaya nga we in coordination with the DILG, ang sabi namin kailangan siguro mag-conduct ng inspection yung mga local government units kasi nga meron naman silang visitorial powers to check on the sanitary, mayor's permit, structural permit, engineering permit, yung fire code permit. So, pwede nilang gawin yun.
Yusek, you mentioned kasi although may mga breakaway groups but they're all operating under possibly a single foreigner that's parang boss nila. So hindi po to mga kanya-kanya hanggang ngayon possibly yung sindikato behind this is still active.
Yeah, kasi they need yung mga kahit paano yung mga foreign nationals to assist them kasi yung target selection kasi tsaka yung profiling ng mga bibiktimahin. Most of the time it's coming from the foreigners. Let's say halimbawa, they are targeting as a particular country na lolokohin. So, sila yung nagpo-profile kung sino yung mga pwedeng lokohin. And these are done by foreign nationals. Hindi kaya ng mga Pilipinos ito, not unless they speak of the language. But kung hindi naman nila kaya magsalita, talagang yung mga foreigners pa rin ang gumagawa nito.
Okay.
Yusek, meron pa ba tayong tinitignan ng mga malalaking pogo operations dito sa ating bansa na parang mga ala Lucky South 99, yung mga nasa Bamban, o last na yon ng mga nahuli natin?
May mga inspection din kami. Actually, tomorrow we will be doing an inspection dito sa somewhere in Cavite. So, titingnan namin isa sa mga malaki ito. So, sabi kasi nila nagsara na raw ito, but we will be inspectioning. Doing the inspection kasama si SILG John Vic Rimulya, no? Si SILG kasi yung nag-initiate na inspectionin natin yung mga natitira na yan na malalaki.
Oo, narinig nga din namin yan yung Cavite na mabuti at pupuntahan ninyo. Pero Yusek, do we have data din dun sa lahat-lahat ng mga na-read po natin ng mga pogos? Kung ilan?
Meron naman tayong data. At yung tinitingnan na lang kasi natin ngayon, yung mga naiwan na lang, But yung iba kasing na-raid na natin at nagsara, babalikan na lang natin. But yung naiwan na hindi pa nare-raid, lang tutumbukin namin within the week or the next coming week.
Yusek, isa rin po sa mga inaabangan din po ng mga kababayan natin, yung mga accountable nga po dito sa likod ng Pogos. So, do we have an update on that?
Meron na tayo mga dinimanda ng mga local government officials, And I think there is still ongoing investigation as to some other local government officials na pinagdududahan namin na may alam o involved dito sa operation ng Pogo.
Yes, Yusek, kasi initially, nung nagsisimula po, bago po nag-SONA si PBBM, madami nagsasabi, possibly daw po, there is just one big boss that runs all the illegal activities of this Pogo, tapos may mga heads dito. Are we looking at that angle pa rin po, Yusek, or there's possibility na more than one group po ang nagmamando dito sa Pilipinas?
Definitely, it's more than one group. Hindi lang isang tao, But tinitingnan natin kung magkakilala kasi yung sa ginawa natin, sa investigation na ginagawa natin, iba kasi magkakaaway pa nga . So,
okay.
we're looking at, hindi lang siguro isa o dalawa na grupo. Baka mas marami pa.
Okay. Yung mga Pogo workers po na pinade-deport natin ngayon at nabalitaan nga din po natin na yung iba talagang sumusurrender, meron pa rin po ba tayong mga target na hindi pa rin po nagsusurrender?
Ngayon kasi nagkukusa na sila Like, I think 2 nights ago, may sumurrender na naman sa aming 4 na Vietnamese, And they want to be deported na lang. So, kinukuha naman namin yan kasi nga ayaw naman natin pakalat-kalat ito. Mamaya may mangyari pa sa kanila, especially they are foreign nationals. So, kinukuha na rin namin. But as long as they're willing to be deported, nire-report namin sa mga embassies nila.
Last na po, Yusek, kasi naalala ko, meron din na raid noon ng ospital na catering only dun sa mga Pogo workers, Pogo owners, ganyan. Ngayon po ba, meron pa rin po ba mga gano'n na nag-ooperate ng mga hospital na catering solely para sa mga Pogos?
Meron kaming minomonitor but ang pagkakaalam ko as of last week, nagsara na rin . So, titingnan namin, baka nagsara lang ito for a while and then mag-ooperate. And definitely, kukunin pa rin namin yan kung mag-operate pa rin sila.
Alright, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. That was Yusek Gilbert Cruz, Executive Director ng PAOK. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Alright, still hot at the 4th spot is about PhilHealth. The state insurance company has refuted claims of spending 138 million pesos for its Christmas party. PhilHealth clarified that expenses circulated online was intended for their 30th anniversary. They added that the expenses posted were not yet final. PhilHealth also assured the public that all expenditures complied with government guidelines and procurement laws.
Oo, kasi nung una yung nilabas
Christmas party daw.
Ni Dr. Tony Liachon pang Christmas party. Pero sinasabi nila, for anniversary yan next year. It is just a proposed budget daw. Hindi pa ina-approvehan. Pero pag titignan mo nga daw yung mga inisa-isa mo yun, pero masyadong magarbo. Merong mga gagastusin sa, sa head office, merong gagastusin sa regional offices, tapos ang bulk of the budget ay napupunta doon sa mga yung mga souvenirs, yung mga papamigay, may coffee table, book, merong mga, yung mga Ang tawag doon, yung
Yung
mga
nga.
souvenirs.
Yeah.
Oo, di ba? Siguro
Giveaways
mga
nila.
giveaways,
Oo.
yun. Isa yun sa mga tinignan din nila doon sa listahan. Which is, sabi nila, napakadaming, mo, 130 million yung pera na gagastos.
Medyo malaki
doon.
yon, but
Oo.
ang point dito is if everything naman is in order and according to the law, di wala namang problema daw yon. Kasi you have to remember, although in hindsight, it's really a big amount.
Oo.
And it could have been used sa other package. But then again, kasi every year, nakaseparate na yung capex at opex ng isang kumpanya, and anything that's in excess of that na nababudget, they can use for other activities.
Pero kasi-
If they're using that for other activities, I understand it, because you have to remember, in any corporate setting, those who understand it, you have to have a motivated team, especially with an institution like PhilHealth, because they're finance-based. So they need, kailangang mataas ang motivation to keep the productivity up.
Pero kasi with the issues hounding PhilHealth, especially, hindi lang ngayon, noon-noon pa, yung mga bonuses,
Yeah, I understand.
diba? Yung
Oo.
mga incentives sa binibigay. Tapos ngayon, wala pa silang zero subsidy sila mula sa gobyerno natin. So, syempre, yung mga tao, yung mga miyembro, parang ano ba, what's happening, diba? Ito na nga, wala nga kayong maibigay masyado dun sa mga expanded na packages, or let's say, for example, yung 300,000 na bill ng isang tao, 150 lang, 30,000 lang yung makukuha niya, 10,000. Tapos here you are, meron kayong 138 million para po sa not Christmas party, sige, anniversary.
Tsaka it's high
so,
time.
it's not, hindi maganda tignan.
Hindi ko man sinasabi yung mga okay siya. I'm just saying, in hindsight, if everything is above board, wala naman tayong magagawa if it's within the structure of the budget, the way they budget. Kasi on its own, kasi face value, PhilHealth is an independent institution which just receives subsidy from the government. Muntik na nga, it looks like hindi sila makakatanggap ng subsidy this year.
Hindi talaga.
But
Pera na lang kung i-veto.
Pero at the end of the day, kailangan pag-aralan yung structure ng mga pagsisweldo.
Ayusin nila yung management system ng PhilHealth. Tapos tanggalin nila yung mga hindi marunong mag-manage ng PhilHealth.
Kaya ngayon sinasabi ko, you have to take a look at the structure, because if you want PhilHealth to run efficiently, you need top-notch people in that field to run PhilHealth. But ang problema, why would a CEO, a president, or a COO of a big insurance company transfer to PhilHealth kung bugbog na siya sa benefits at mataas ang sweldo niya sa corporate insurance? That's why siguro PhilHealth, which is limited by the structure of the salary, they just parang binabalanse nila yung offer through bonuses. Because let's face it, we need top-notch officials to run PhilHealth para maging efficient siya, kasi it's a financial-based institution.
Can you imagine ang trilyon aabutin yung yung backlog nung
Utang nila.
insurance liability
Yeah.
ng PhilHealth sa mga ospital.
Yeah, laki.
Diba?
Malaki
So
yun.
paano nila yan, I don't know how they're going to do that kung with zero subsidy, tapos ito pa meron pa silang propose na I mean, hindi ko man sinasabi na wag silang mag-celebrate ng ng anniversary nila, pero 'di ba, be prudent, 'di ba? Lalo na ngayon laki ng issue ng PhilHealth. Okay, sige. Pag-usapan pa natin yan sa susunod na mga araw, kasi for sure hindi yan magda-die down. Dahil marami tayong mga katalungan at issue na dapat pag-usapan tungkol sa PhilHealth. But for the meantime, let's continue with our countdown. Now, on our top 3, Mary Jane Veloso's return to the country is now being finalized by the Indonesian and Philippine governments. Here's the report.
The loved ones of Mary Jane Veloso were scheduled to fly to Indonesia for a compassionate visit this week. But this was canceled as Veloso is about to be transferred to the Philippines.
We were advised na to wag na ituloy yung visit kasi baka wala rin silang maabutan doon. We're hoping to get consular access, and then from there we'll know na kung kailan na talaga siya makakalipat papuntang Manila.
Veloso has been jailed in Indonesia for almost 15 years now over drug trafficking charges. Early this month, the Marcos administration announced that she will continue her prison sentence here in the country. Authorities said she will be sent directly to the Correctional Institution for Women. Despite this, one of her children couldn't help but be happy for the return of his mother.
Nagpapasalamat po ako sa Indonesian government dahil po sa wakas po makakalaya na po yung mama ko. Mararanasan ko na pong magkaroon ng nanay. Dahil po 1 taon at 4 na buwan po ako nung nakulong po yung nanay ko.
According to a News 5 source, Veloso is expected to be flown back home by Wednesday or Thursday. Her family, meanwhile, continues to appeal for clemency, which will be decided by President Bongbong Marcos.
Oy, sana makauwi na si Mary Jane soon. That's very good. Good news to
Hindi
hear.
na nga doon natuloy, di ba, yung compassionate visit nila.
Hindi na.
Kasi uwi na rin naman eh.
So which means within the next 2 weeks at the most. We expect Mary Jane, well, at the very least, sana bago mag-New Year, di ba? But initial reports came in na baka umabot daw ng
Christmas.
Pasko dito. So which would be good because the family could visit Mary Jane sa correctional, di ba? And spend time. Hindi na yung kailangan lumipad pa sa Indonesia which will entail a lot of cost. Pero I'm sure PBBM still will monitor and fill out the situation daw.
Hindi
Pagdating-
kaagad-agad
Hindi
magbibigay
kaagad
ng,
yan.
ng clemency.
Out of respect. And ano daw, parang ang gusto nila is magpakita daw ng productivity and good behavior pa rin si Mary Jane here, which will give PBBM all the necessary tools to give her yung... Para,
Pero
kunyari,
ang ano lang nila concern dyan is her safety eh.
Oo.
Kasi because of yung kung sakasakali baka kasi malaki yung
hindi naman issue
sindikato
yung
behind this.
yung guarantee ng DOJ na bibigyan nila siya, hindi wala daw special treatment. Hindi man special treatment ang issue ng tao. Ang issue ng tao is give her extra security if needed for the meantime. For the meantime. Kasi may mga sindikato na kamanman dyan. You have the drug syndicates, you have for sure yung recruiter na napakulong is not hindi lang sila. May other people behind it. So bantayan rin nila yan. Tsaka hindi issue yung being close to these recruiters inside the prison. Kasi if malaking illegal recruitment group
They can hire somebody.
They can hire somebody kahit gaano kalayo pa si Mary Jane sa general population. Ayun. So, tas may trial pa ongoing, di ba?
Yes,
May
sa Nueva Ecija
Nueva Ecija.
Regional Trial Court, yung sa
Yeah.
kanyang mga illegal recruiters.
Anyway, we're hoping makabalik siya anytime soon. Hindi na pinabiyahe, so I'm sure excited na yung pamilya.
To see her.
To see her. Anyway, madami pa tayong pag-uusapan. Don't go away because we're not done yet. May dalawa pa tayo. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching Brunch here on One News.
Thank you so much, House of Puto Bao.
Bao.
Diba? Para sa
Palitaw.
ating palitaw
Oo.
na napakasarap. Nakailang piraso ka na?
Dalawa.
Pangalawa ko na rin.
Dalawa para tayo. Uy, ito yung pinag-usapan natin kanina. It's
Ano?
all over the news na Kevin Kiambao confirmed na that he's going to the Goyang Sonos Kaigan. Siguro kala kasi ng marami, nung in-interview siya after the finals, pahinga muna ako. Siyempre, sa bugso ng pagod yun, na siguro nasabi niya. But before the finals even began, he already mentioned na aalis siya kaagad within a few days after the finals. Tsaka it's hindi po sikreto sa lahat. He made it known that in KBL will be a stepping stone for him towards a run at the NBA dream. Because if you know kasi, ang KBL, Japan League, you have the Australian League, which is the NBL, you have the Euro League, are one of the farming targets po ng NBA with regards to drafting prospects. At saka yung competition sa KBL is medyo maganda.
Parang nakikita ko nga yung trend na talagang after nila dito, yung mga college students, yun ang takbuhan nila
Yeah.
sa Korea di ba?
Well, ang reported contract daw ni
Mahal
Kiambao,
daw magbayad sila no?
ang reported contract ni Kiambao is somewhere between 24 to 28 million pesos converted for I think 3 or 4 years. Reported
Pag may
yun,
kasama
ha?
siyang family, ano ba yun?
No, sagot lahat.
Sagot lahat
Yung
nila.
sinasabing reported salary, sa kanya na yun.
Wow.
What they will provide for transportation, food, allowances, very sila, talagang they provide.
Miyo ha? Joke lang.
Yan, KBL tsaka Japan League. Tapos ang next step niya, sana daw, if he performs well yung first year, kasi medyo maedad na rin si KQ.
Pero very strict ang KBL, di ba? Ang KBL, KBL, Korean Basketball.
What do you mean strict?
Yung halimbawa, pag hindi ka nag-deliver this
Ay,
year,
oo.
the next year,
No,
talagang
kaya-
hindi ka na nila i-renew.
No, but si KQ has supposedly yung initial reports, he has a 3-year contract. Pero I think may mga, like for example, may mga certain,
clauses yan na,
may mga certain
diba?
Pinoy na napauwi before because
Underperform.
underperforming. Oo.
Okay, sige. Let's
Okay.
continue with our countdown.
Going straight to our top 2, President Bongbong Marcos orders the Customs Bureau and Agriculture Department to go harder against smugglers. Mobile journalist Julie Baiza with the report.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has ordered the Bureau of Customs and Department of Agriculture to go after smugglers of agricultural products. The president emphasized this during his inspection of the 178.5 million pesos worth of seized frozen mackerel at the Manila International Container Terminal in Tondo, Manila this weekend.
Sinisira ang merkado dito sa Pilipinas, pinagkikitaan ng tao, wala namang bumabalik sa gobyerno at yung dapat na ibayad sa gobyerno ay binubulsa lamang. Tapos hindi na nga natin makontrol kung paano nila i-release. Dahil nakita natin, kasama na rin yan sa ibang agricultural product na kahit na makapag-import sila ng mura, iniipit muna nila bago pataasin ang presyo, bago na bibitawan sa merkado.
The chief executive said the authorities have to break this chain. He asked the DA and BOC to file appropriate cases against the smugglers under the Republic Act 12022 or the Anti-Agricultural Economic Sabotage Act.
Kaya ito yung buong tinatawag na chain na kailangan natin buwagin. At ito is, as I said, is the first case under the new law of the Anti-Agricultural Sabotage Act. I've spoken to our Bureau of Customs, I've spoken to the Department of Agriculture. We have to keep going. Kailangan patibayin pa natin ito.
After the inspection, PBBM presided over the distribution of some 28,000 kilos of seized mackerel in Baseco Port area, Manila. Each household got 2 kilos of mackerel. The frozen mackerel will also be distributed to the poorest barangays in Metro Manila, Obando and Maykawayan in Bulacan, and Bacoor in Cavite.
Sa smuggling, ang ginagawa po, ini-smuggle nila, pinapasok nila, tapos iipitin. Hindi ilalabas. Mag-aantay hanggang tumaas ang presyo. Pag tumaas ang presyo, saka nila pagbibili. Kaya't yun ang iniiwasan natin dahil ang nabibiktima dyan ay ang taong bayan. Kaya't hindi natin papayagan na matuloy yung mga ganyang klaseng sistema. Kaya't ginawang kanga namin ng batas at pinapatibay namin na mabuti.
Select city jails, public hospitals, and various care facilities will likewise receive the confiscated goods. In total, an estimated 150,000 families will benefit from this. Mobile journalist Julie Baiza, We Are One News.
Now let's get some reactions to that.
We have with us Raul Montemayor, National Manager of Federation of Free Farmers Cooperatives, on the line. So Raul, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Yes, good morning. Magandang umaga rin sa lahat ng nakikinig.
Yes, sir, no, ano po ang, first of all, I'd like to ask your reaction on the timing nitong pronouncements of the intensified drive ng gobyerno po laban daw sa smuggling.
Well, ang unang reaction ko, better late than never. Kasi this has been going on for a long time.
Yes.
So it's about time na makapag-sample tayo. Pero I just want to point out now, there was an old law, Anti-Smuggling Act then. Pwede naman siyang huliin under that old law eh. Because ang binago lang nitong bagong batas ay tinaasan yung penalties at saka medyo iniwalay yung apprehension from the BOC kasi ang problema in the first law, BOC ang tigahuli ng smuggler ang sinasabi nila, paano huhuliin yung ng BOC kung posibleng kasangkot sila doon sa attempt to smuggle, no? So under the new law, there's another committee that's supposed to be formed. So actually, you still cannot implement the new law as of now kasi wala pa yung mga preparatory activities, no?
Yes. Pero sir,
and this, yes.
Go ahead, sir, go ahead.
Yeah, well, so my point is, this could have been done much earlier and for many other attempts to smuggle, pero mukhang hindi nangyayari. So I hope this one sends a signal na magbabago na talaga.
Yeah, that's right. Well, this is a step in the right direction. But Sir Raul, you said this could have been done noon pa man. Ilan administration na po ang nakaraan and we're still dealing with the same problem. What do you think naging ang problema at kahit mismo yung mga ibang admin hindi ma-address yung issue sa customs mismo?
Pera kasi yan eh. No? Nakakasilaw talaga ang pera. And for a long time now, we're saying this approach of punitive, no? Merong mag-smuggle, huhuliin, then ibibilanggo.
Yes.
That can strike some fear, ano? Pero it's not effective because these people use dummies, no, and they have contacts from inside. So ang hirap talaga huliin yan. And for all we know, itong nahuling mackerel, baka sinampulan lang yan eh.
Yes.
Pero maraming nakalusot. No? So what we've been pushing for long while, for a long time, is the preventive measure. And this is what we call yung pre-shipment inspection na tinutulok ngayon ni Secretary Laurel. Ibig sabihin, doon pa lang sa port ng source ng shipment, meron nang nag-i-inspect bago pa dalhin dito sa Pilipinas.
Oh,
And we think that kind of preventive approach will be much more effective.
Oo, para dun pa lang makita na, 'di ba? Pero sabi daw po dito, the BOC has already seized 5.87 billion worth of smuggled agricultural products from July 2022 until November of this year. And sabi din dito, they've recorded 4 convictions involving illicit importation of agricultural products. Tingin niyo po ba ano pa yung mga dapat gawin para mas mapataas pa po natin yung number of people na accountable dito sa nangyayaring smuggling?
Yeah. Well, yan yung nahuli. Yung hindi nahuli, magkano kaya? Mas malaki pa yun eh. Mas malaki pa yun, no? So, in fact, ang balita namin kung minsan, from time to time, nagsasample talaga sila.
That's right.
Para lang mapakita na may nahuhuli. But the question is how much more was able to pass through without detection, no? So, and sure, I'd just like to add, no? Ito, outright smuggling eh. No?
Yeah.
Hindi nagbabayad ng buwis. But there is another type of smuggling going on, yung technical smuggling.
Which is?
That means undervaluation, binababayad din nila yung weight, yung volume or weight ng shipment nila.
Yeah.
O kaya they declare a product as something other than what it really is. No?
Yes.
To avoid detection and what. Ang daming ganyan. No? In fact, in the case of rice, in our studies, about 50% of the rice shipments are undervalued by 20% or more.
But Sir Raul,
Wala naman nahuhuli.
Oo.
yes, Sir Raul, kasi sabi nyo, walang nahuhuli, may undervalued estimates, and yung credibility ng BOC, while hindi po lahat sila ganun, is still in question. So until such time po na we can fully trust the BOC, ano po ang sa tingin mo yung sinasabi ng ibang grupo na maybe we could come up, since this is tantamount to pwede possibly in the future a big concern because ang laki nawawala sa Pilipinas. How about creating a special task force that's independent of the BOC to tackle these issues?
Yan na yung nakalagay dun sa bagong
Yun,
batas.
oo. But who will run it? That's a question.
Ang head ng task force na yan is NBI, basta. And the original statement in that law was hindi kasama ang BOC sa task force. No?
Okay.
Pero nagtaka kami dun sa final version na nasipirmahan, nakapasok uli ang BOC sa task force. No? So kung may gumagalaw na naman ng mga kamay. No? Kaya, but we live with what we have. At least there is now a task force. But it still has to be formed.
Yeah, that's right.
Kaya itong sinasabing this is the first case where before you can file that case, you have to probably put up the implementing rules and regulations ng batas.
That's right.
Alright, sige, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. Raul Montemayor, National Manager of Federation of Free Farmers Cooperatives.
Thank you.
Nabuo na sana yung task force.
Pero bakit may BOC pa rin daw?
Dapat wala sa original.
Pero tama naman siya dun eh, di ba? Yung nasa sampulan, yun yung mga recorded lang at saka magkano yun. Pero yung mga talagang nakakalusot
malaki
natin
nawawala
alam kung
sa
gaano
BOC.
kalaki yung disruption ng food supply natin. But let's continue with our countdown. Emerging at the top spot is Vice President Sara Duterte's confidential expenses. The Philippine Statistics Authority, or PSA, revealed that almost 2/3 of the OVP's confidential funds recipients do not exist. Out of all the 1,192 recipients of the 500 million pesos confidential funds, 1,322 of them do not have birth records in PSA's database. 670 of the recipients were identified as most likely matched to existing records. Prior to this, PSA revealed that 405 out of 677 recipients who supposedly received secret fund payments from the Education Department do not exist. The agency also reported that controversial recipients Mary Grace Piatos and Cocoy Villamin do not have birth records. VP Sara previously refused to comment on this matter, insisting that it is all part of their intelligence operations.
Okay, yung claim niya na it's all part of intelligence operations, that's why they're using pseudonyms there. Ang sabi ng iba, we understand most agencies they will do that kasi matter of public record ang resibo,
And
baka
may
naman
security,
but ito ang problema,
purposes.
wala rin silang existing book which most in central intelligence agencies have that says, Mary Grace Piatos is, sino ba ang confidential?
Tapos may certain people lang yung dapat makakakita.
Parang sa PNP, di ba?
Yung nakalagay kasi yan, di ba, doon sa 2015 GAA na sinasabi ni Attorney Nery Colmenares na nakalagay dyan, dapat doon sa confidential funds, meron kang physical plan, di ba, doon sa iyong paggamit ng confidential.
Pero aside from that, yung record keeping, like I was saying, in PNP, meron silang assets. Ang assets, nakalagay sa black book and only a certain few number of people have the access to the black book. Kung sino yung naka-secret name sa resibo. Para kung public record ang resibo, they don't have to reveal that. Pero if kailangan
supportive,
pero if they need to scrutinize it, they can look at the book and see who it is.
Yun.
Ang problema ito, wala rin tong book.
Wala din. Yun nga yun yung physical plan na sinasabi ko. Yung, meron daw sila yung physical plan pero generic din. So it doesn't support yung mga claims sila, yung mga naka-sign doon sa acknowledgement receipts. And on the part of VP Sara naman, sinasabi niya, wala daw siyang alam doon sa mga acknowledgement receipts. So dalawa lang yan di ba? Sabi nga natin, it's either hindi ka okay na leader kasi hindi mo alam to na nangyayari under your nose, or pangalawa, I don't know.
Either or this goes against her because number one, if she claim niya wala siyang alam, inkompetent siya to run the management of funds sa agency niya. Or number two, kung may alam siya, ang laking pera ang supposedly nawawala sa napunta actually. So either way, she is both, they're saying that she is both liable for the way these funds are managed.
Yun, antabayan na natin yung magiging kasi yan yung isa sa mga grounds sa impeachment. Nga, sinabi nga ni Representative Franz Castro sa atin when we interviewed her last week, di ba? Kapag ganyan, nagsisinungaling siya. Diba?
Or more importantly, possible criminal cases. If they're able to prove it.
Nako. Anyway, so ang dami kasi ng mga pseudonames na yan na wala. It's either sabi nun sa PSA wala sa kapanganakan, hindi nag-asawa or hindi rin namatay, walang record sa
kahit hindi mo na i-check pag pangalan mo Mary Grace Piatos o Nova Uishi Tempura, for sure naman who would name their child Tempura? Ano ba naman yan? Anyway, maraming salamat po sa House of Puto Bao for this palubog, palitaw, napakasarap.
Marunong ka ba gumawa ng palitaw? Di ba chef ka?
Mahirap yan.
Mahirap ba to?
Pastry chef ang nakatrain dito. Pero maraming salamat po sa inyo and sa lahat na nanood ng brunch for Monday to start of the week. Medyo mainit, daming issues. Condolences po sa mga taga-Lasal. Lahat tayo ay nagluluksa. Hindi, syempre, we expected a win after a wonderful game 2. But that's how basketball is, bilog ang bola, and that's how life is.
Okay.
And that wraps up today's episode of Brunch.
Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angela Lagunsad Castro.
And I'm Angelo Castro III.
Are you sure? We are One News, all sides,
all the time.